But I did want to say a little bit about the three gifts, or the three the three payments
Mm.
that the old woman makes. I found them at first. I thought they were just like, oh, these are just fun little magic tricks. Like they just pick something like, oh, if you had one superpower, what would it be? Oh, I could wish myself anywhere in the world. Oh, I could summon an army whenever I wanted to. But actually, I had this little light bulb moment of that. They're like, it's like fight or flight. They're like nervous system responses, right? So the hat is like the flight response. Obviously, you can, so you're guaranteed safety in the face of danger by being able to run away, and you can run away perfectly. Like you win at running away. You put the hat
Yeah.
on, you're like, I'm gone, and you're gone. And there's
Yeah.
no question, nobody's going to catch you. It's just instantaneous, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the horn. That's sort of a fight response. All of a sudden, you blow the horn, and you can go to war with anybody, and you're going to win. Like you're going to win the fight, and so you don't have to be afraid of danger, because if it gets to a fight, you know how to win.
Mm.
It's almost like a martial arts kind of a thing. Like
Mm.
when you're
Gaining
confident
power.
enough.
Mm.
Yeah, when you're
Physical
confident
power.
enough in yourself. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then the one I didn't get for a while was the gold. Um, so I was like, well, that's just money, right? That's just. But I was thinking about it. I was reading this over again before we started this recording, and it occurred to me that the and I don't expect that. I will have to as a little aside. I will have to say I do not necessarily expect that the people that created these fairy tales were as aware of the nervous system and the responses that it has that we have labeled in these ways. Like, I don't expect it to be like, oh, well, these guys in the woods in Germany in the 1700s knew about the fight or flight or freeze response, and they knew what was going on, and they understood all. Maybe they did on an instinctual level. Maybe they were very wise beings, but wise humans, or maybe it's just part of the creative telling of the story. But this is the pattern that I map onto it. This isn't me necessarily saying that they were 100% aware of this.
Mm.
I think creativity is a little more creative than that. But anyway,
Mm.
so I figured when we go into a freeze response, whether that's like a gazelle, on the plains, or it's us when we're scared, the whole idea of that is our body is freezing us to contain our resources so that we have the resources to take action when we need to.
Mm.
So there's this video that they show in a lot of the somatic training modalities of like an antelope. An antelope is taken down by a lion, and the lion like knocks it down. And the antelope goes into freeze and just falls over.
Mm.
And the lion's like sniffing at it and pulling at it, and you can tell the lion's like eventually going to eat it. And then this hyena comes along and like chases, and then like gets into a tussle with the lion
Mm.
and chases the lion off. And then the hyena's like gnawing at the antelope, and the antelope's still just laying there. And then the lion starts sniffing around back, and the hyena like turns and like chases the lion off, and is standing off in the corner of the screen, kind of off to the side, like growling off at the lion.
Mm.
And you see on the other side the antelope like jump up and run off.
Wow.
So the story that you get from that is that the freeze response is one of the body, the mind of the antelope freezing it, so then it has the physical resources to jump up and run away once it feels safe enough to do so. Because if it had jumped up and run away, the lion would have caught it, or the hyena would have caught it, and it would
Mm.
have wasted all those. So if it had like one more get up and run left in it, the freeze response keeps that resource safe until there's a chance to actually use it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
gold is a resource. If you
Mm.
feel like you have as much gold as you need, you can take a lot of chances. You don't really have to freeze up. You can be like, okay, well, I got thrown in jail for this, but I got like infinite gold. So how much is it going to take to bribe you to let me out of here, guy? Or like, is there a fine? Can I just pay a fine? Like, can I dedicate some public works? What can I do? Money gets us out of a lot of things that otherwise would kind of keep us stuck. So I think there's sort of a mapping of each of these onto, or at least it's just it's a fun comparison to play with. I don't know
Yeah.
necessarily that it's a strong thing, but they are all gifts. Like these instinctive responses that we carry are gifts from our ancestors. They're gifts from our genetic ancestors, meaning like back when we were had a before we split kinship with like wolves and stuff like that, when we back like early mammals. A lot of these, or even earlier than that, come from that time period. And so for the old woman to come out and sort of give them to each of these men is sort of like something ancestral coming up. It's a recognizing of these ancestral gifts and sort of a mastering of them, or a familiarizing ourselves with them such that we're able to use them very well.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
like
just see
that.
them as gifts in that way, you know?
Definitely, yeah, they're in a general way, they're for basic things that you need to survive. Although interestingly, the money also helps you to survive socially, as it shows that he gains respect by
Mm.
them. Uh, and and yeah, it's the way you portrayed them as gifts from our ancestors that make adds a layer to the opening scene where it's like you're in a very primitive environment where you're outside. You're not necessarily safe. You're on a journey. You've built a fire. There's the woods and the darkness outside, and something emerges out of the darkness. So, out of the mind or the experience or something, you gain a gift of something that helps you to survive in a primitive way. Like you learn to fight more, or you learn to run better, or to your senses are learn to deal with all the all the dangerous things that are out there physically or psychologically, which I think can maybe be a key to kind of understanding the the rest of the story. So yeah, I
Mm.
like that painting of the those gifts.